Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Collegiate Star League. I am Nomo Dogan, and joining me tonight for the Collegiate Hearthstone action is Chandyland. How are you doing tonight, Chandy?
I'm doing great, Nomo. Yeah, I'm excited to see another exciting round of games. We're gonna have two matches tonight, so we're in for a longer stream tonight. Yeah, so I'm excited to see. We have first we're gonna have North Texas versus Michigan, followed by UC Irvine versus San Jose State.
Yep, sounds great to me. Definitely got some exciting matches. If either of these schools or any of the four of these schools want to make it to playoffs, they definitely need a win here tonight. A couple of these schools, the two who are in the first match, North Texas and Michigan, actually both made it to playoffs last season. Um, and the match after that, UC Irvine and San Jose. These guys are having a kind of rough season here. They played each other last season, and San Jose actually won last season in the fall. So it should be interesting to see what happens there, as we've seen them play each other before.
All right, so they'll probably be looking to get a little revenge match here.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would definitely be looking for something like that. So. Once again, we would also like to thank Twitch and Asus ROG for sponsoring the CSL this season. Twitch feature our matches weekly, and we're proud to be affiliated with the largest gaming stream provider in the world. And Asus ROG is the presenting sponsor of the CSL this year. Make sure to follow their social medias like at Asus_ROG and thank them for sponsoring the CSL. And with that, I think we're about ready to jump into game one of the night. Now, this first match, Michigan Premier Hearthstone is going to start off with a win. So they will start the series 1-0 over UNT due to some things. Um, I'm not sure exactly what, but if they submitted their roster late or something along those lines, that's probably what has caused them to start with this win. So. Yep, UNT starting with a little bit of a disadvantage, but that's definitely not the series. They've got a few games they can play out here and maybe pull out a win.
All right. Yeah, so looking forward to some exciting games. So, as we said, let's see. The one of the teams has already received 1 point, so they're only going to be looking for two wins in this match. But we'll see how this goes for UNT.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be kind of a rough feeling to start down in a match, but it's definitely still winnable depending on what decks your players bring, how much you got going on there, how confident your players are. It's almost like, you could just pretend the first game was someone drew really well on the other team and it was just unwinnable, and you could pretend that something like that happened, and it's not too big of a deal because that could have happened anyway, but it's still a rough feeling, I guess, as UNT.
All right, so we'll have to see how they recover from this. So first up, we're gonna have 10 Mandates from UNT versus Yuyuko's. So our players are getting ready, and we'll jump right into our first match.
All right. With each of these matches, I'm just wondering how long until the new format, how long until standard, when cards rotate out and stuff like that. I just keep thinking about it for whatever reason. Like how much longer are these decks that we're seeing gonna last? Will some of them change? Maybe some of them will never be played again. Who knows? But we see Tan Man Dietz has brought Druid and Yukos is on Priest. I think this tends to favor the Priest, depending on what their list looks like. It used to really favor the Druid, but I mean, I guess it still can, depending on the draw. As is always with Druid, it really depends on whether or not they get Wild Growth, Innervate into some craziness. But yeah, I mean, we see a really good curve from Tan Man, and Yuko starts off with a turn two Shrinkmeister. Tinman had the wild growth into his choice of Piloted Shredder or Keeper of the Grove. The Keeper definitely looks better here to me, because Piloted Shredder could just get its first side killed off by that Shrinkmeister. You don't really want that to happen. you can just keeper that out of the way and hopefully trade off your keeper before turn 6 comes around because Cabal Shadow Priest is definitely something you're scared of. Coin Akanai Soul Priest gonna get played here by Yukos. Not something you see a whole lot, especially when his hand has two 6 drops, but I guess he doesn't really want to miss a beat here. Potentially setting up to circle clear on this next turn. He'll have his Akanai at 1 health. Um, doesn't seem like he has many options other than that. I think that's a fine play though. A 3-1 Akanai. The Druid will be on 6 mana. I guess Tanman could hero power and play his other Shredder. And then Yukos could play his Sludge Belcher.
Alright, so it looks like
Probably.
Yuko's gonna go for the circle play here. So he's gonna be able to get a full clear on the board here with the hero power onto the Druid of the Claw.
Yep, seems completely fine to me.
Right. Not too bad for 10 Mandates either, because he can do the hero power along with the Shredder this turn.
Yep. And as the priest in this matchup, you definitely just want to keep the druid like slowed down. You want to keep control of things, not let it get too out of hand. And another thing is, as the priest player, you want to make sure not to get in range for the combo. So you want to try to prevent that in any way possible. But sometimes you can't, depending on the things that happen during the game.
Right.
We're gonna see Dr. Boom now on turn 6 because there was a wild growth played from Tanman. That's a really strong play. I mean, Yukos does have ways to deal with the 7/7, but the Boombots are still gonna do some good work here as they always do, unless they both just go face. I mean, that could happen.
Right. So Yuko decides to go for the Shadow Word Death there instead of the Entomb. Reasonable play. A couple more things in 10 Mandates that you'd like to entomb, maybe Ancient of Lore or Emperor. Shadow Word Death is reasonable there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the Shadow Word Death seems just fine there. Power Word Shield played on the Sludge Belcher draws a flash heal. It looks like Yukos is considering just flash healing his Sludge Belcher. Mm. I mean, we've already seen a keeper played, so that's one out of the way. The other one could be in hand, or these boombots could just destroy the Sludge Belcher. Like, it's not maximum value. A heal for 4 is still solid, but Tin Man is gonna start trading off these boombots. One goes to the face, and that's not a good sign. I mean, you definitely want him to hit this Sludge Belcher to make sure you can kill it off. And the other goes to the face. Wow. That's too bad for Tan Man. As now he can't really deal with this Sludge Belcher unless he swipes,
Right.
and that doesn't feel good.
It's kind of awkward for 10 Mandates here because he doesn't really want to have to hero power this turn because it doesn't allow him to play a minion. So he's gonna have to sacrifice his Snow Chugger here so he can play his Shredder.
Yep. I mean, the second Shredder coming out looks okay. Like, you didn't really want to use the swipe like that, especially when you have to trade in the Snow Chugger too, but all right, Museum Curator is going to see Toshli, Dark Cultist, and Death Lord. Yuka's just deciding between these 3 cards. What does he want to take? I mean, he's already got a Death Lord in hand. Just decides to take the Dark Cultist, which I think is a fine decision. You could have taken the other Death Lord. Maybe if you had something like a Light Bomb, you'd feel a little safer doing that because
Right.
putting both Death Lords in play, having a Light Bomb to clear the board afterwards
Right.
is pretty good. But Dark Cultist is, something cheap like Death Lord, but doesn't have as big of a downside. Or doesn't have any downside, I guess I could say. Dark Cultist actually has huge upside when it dies.
Alright, so 10 Mandates is gonna go for just clearing the slime here and leaving the Death Lord intact for now.
Yeah, no reason to mess
Second
with it yet.
Curator coming down here.
Ooh, Major Domo Executus was an option there, but
Never
opts
Major
for
Domo.
yeah, another Dark Cultist now. And we're gonna see an Entomb on Ancient of Lore. Interesting decision. Could have played 2 Dark Cultists and just left the board as it was. and
Right.
save the Entomb for something else. I think I might have liked to see that, but
Right. I agree. Because Druid has a really hard time dealing with a swarmy board. They don't really have very good forms of AoE. If
yeah,
if Yukos had
especially
decided to play two cultists, it would have been really hard for 10 Mandis to get through.
yeah, I mean, especially with a card like Dark Cultist, because that's just gonna buff other things when it dies. But
Right.
Druid of the Claw comes down in charge form, takes out the Death Lord, and puts probably the worst possible minion it could have into play for Tan Man. I mean, that's the second keeper. Now he's out both silences. His opponent gets to Cabal it, and a Dark Cultist comes into play for you. Yukos. Combo is not in sight for Tan Man. It's actually one damage off lethal if he had it this turn, but I mean he doesn't have either piece yet, so that's a long way off for him.
Right. So 10 Mandis decides to go for the Ancient of War here. Reasonable play as well. He could have also opted for Loatheb to protect his board, but unfortunately for him, Yukos doesn't have any form of AoE in his hand.
Yeah, no Shadow or Death either, no Entomb, one of each of those already used. And Tan Man's setting up for a really strong play next turn. He can Azure Drake and Loatheb in the same turn. And whenever you play Loatheb when you have a massive board, it just feels awesome. You feel so strong, because your opponent just can't deal with it because they can't play any spells when you play Loatheb. So
Right. And it's just so powerful for if you have Savage Roar setting up a combo for next turn. It's like almost guaranteeing that your opponent can't clear your board.
yeah. All right. Piece one, combo piece one has been drawn. The Force of Nature for Tanman. Now we're just a Savage Roar away from potentially closing out this game. I mean, Yukos is in a really rough spot. Maybe the second Auchenai could do some work here. I mean, even with Loatheb in play, that Circle of Healing still costs 5 mana. He would have enough to Auchenai Circle.
Right. With the circle with an Alkanite Soul Priest, he could actually get a full clear on this board.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's not what Yukos picks up. He picks up another Shadow Word Death.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him too, it's gonna be 8 mana. So if he wants to get rid of, say, the Loatheb or Ancient of War, it's gonna be really costly.
Yeah, that is a turn late for sure. Still might want to use it, and then he could heal up and take out the Darnassus Aspirant, or he could go with the Cabal Shadow Priest, but it's a tough decision here. I mean, the Cabal Shadow Priest, I think, is the play to win. It's probably better in the long run, but sometimes you just want a Shadow or Death to make sure you survive in this situation.
Right. I also like the Cabal Shadow Priest here. You get another 4/5 on the board. It helps you control the board more in the long run, especially because you don't have another AOE in your hand right now.
Yep. I mean, even if you Shadow Word Death, your opponent's just gonna play a couple more things the next turn, and you'll be in the exact same situation, but with a lower life total. So
Right.
I like getting that Cabal Shadow Priest out as soon as possible, and two Force of Natures now for Tan Man. I mean, you don't want to see the same piece of the combo when you already have it in your hand, but that happens
Right.
sometimes. He's just gonna use this one to clear, which seems pretty good. I mean, it would be nice to get that Shade in play, but something like Excavated Evil or Holy Nova could mess that up. I mean, you're already in a pretty good position, and yeah, might as well clear the opponent's board, play some more stuff, and hopefully draw the Savage Roar next turn.
Right. So at any point that 10 mandates draws Savage Roar, now it's gonna be lethal.
Yeah.
So Yuko picks up the Dr. Boom. So this turn is gonna go with the Shadow Word Death and Dr. Boom. Really strong turn for Yukos.
All right, and the second Ancient of Lore drawn now. This should almost certainly draw him into a Savage Roar. I mean, at some point in the next 30 draws. Okay, a Wrath could
Right.
also help. Big Game Hunter, the perfect answer to this Dr. Boom, besides the Boom Bots, I guess. Those could get some things done, but Tan Man just going to choose to ignore them. Don't really need to worry about burst damage from Priest and just go straight face. Boom Bots on cleanup duty. Wow, that's not what you want to see. I mean, usually you want your second Boom Bot to trade into the 1 health minion and then kill something off, but
Right. So the Death Lord is gonna stall a little bit longer for Yukos, but we gotta see if 10 manis can pick up the Savage Roar in the next two draws. And there it is.
yep, perfect. Is this lethal? I mean, I think it is.
Yeah, it should be lethal.
Yeah. Also, innervate. He could innervate Wrath, and then that would be another 3 damage because he can
Right.
just put it on the Death Lord, which he has to get through anyway. So yeah, does look like lethal damage here for Tan Man Dietz, and that is going to tie up the series, I believe, because Michigan starts off with a win. So yeah, that's going to tie up the series 1-1.
All right.
Emperor Tharison put into playoff, the second Death Lord. Yeah, I think he definitely would have preferred the Emperor Tharison earlier instead of the Keeper of the Grove, but he still won the game anyway. I mean, it's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Right. Typically, druid versus priest is slightly favorable for the druid, because the priest has limited AOE, right, and the druid can keep filling his board, and eventually just overwhelm you with the combo finish.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the times where Priest shines in that matchup is definitely when it can get a big minion in play, like something that's been balanced, and then just keep healing that minion, and it becomes really hard for the druid to deal with.
Right. Typically, the games that the priest wins is when they have really good early board control. Let's say like double Death Lord or like Velen's Death Lord that the druid just can't get through.
Yep. All right, so I think we are going to take a quick break before the next game. We'll see you guys back in a couple minutes.
All right.
She's falling in, but I said it's okay. I'm falling in, and she said it's okay. When the wait falling, the wait for them.
figure out for sure that the other one is playing Control Warrior. Because at this point, I mean, I guess a shield block was played uh, by Ender, right?
Right.
And so Dr. Roxo probably realizes he's Control Warrior, but does Ender realize yet that Dr. Roxo is? I mean, he probably will very soon. I don't know if the Justicar will get played into the Fiery War Axe. That doesn't seem very good, but he might just end up playing it out of lack of other things to do.
Right. So Ender looks like he's gonna drop the Belcher here, which is fine because Dr. Roxo's weapon is only 4 damage this turn, so he's gonna need something else to help him remove the Belcher here.
Yep. He's got a slam to do that if he wants to. He could slam, hit it with the weapon, armor up, and play an Armor Smith.
Right.
Or he could just go with Justicar Trueheart, save that other play for next turn, or potentially just Dr. Boom next turn, depending on how things look. It's a little bit risky against something like a Harrison Jones, but I mean, you can't really worry about that too much. Just gotta
Right.
just gotta take the risk sometimes.
So Justicar on curve is gonna be really strong because he's gonna be gaining twice as much armor as Ender's every turn.
Yeah. I mean, it is a 6/3. It does die off pretty easily, but that armor definitely adds up over time. And if Ender doesn't draw his own Justicar soon, that could just be game. As long as the game does go long. I mean, we've seen this
Right.
time and time again in this mirror. Even on the CSL, we've seen it happen a few times. We've definitely seen some Control Warrior mirrors in the fall, and the Justicar that was played first is typically the side that wins. So
Right. So Ender decides to use his weapon to take out the Justicar here, and just going face with the Belcher. Dr. Roxo's gonna drop the boom on curve. Luckily, Ender does have an answer to that. So he's got a couple options. He could shield slam it, or he could BGH it.
yeah, I think that's a somewhat risky play. The Revenge execute hit with Death Spite seems decent there. I mean, you don't really want to use an execute on Shield Maiden, but sometimes you kind of need to. This damage could add up a little bit, and I mean, there is a big game hunter from Ender as well, so this could be a big problem for Dr. Roxo as he doesn't have a brawl in his hand at the moment.
Right.
Although Ender doesn't know that, he might respect it anyway. Usually you do want to respect the brawl in the mirror matchup because you don't want your opponent to get much value from the card. You don't want to have too many threats in play at once at any time. Especially since most Control Warrior lists these days are playing 2 brawls, since there's a lot of aggro, a lot of patron. You just want to be ready for anything.
Right. So it looks like Ender's gonna go with just the BGH here, and not committing any more minions to the board. Seems really reasonable. You don't want to commit too much into a brawl again.
Yep, I agree with that. Chooses not to use the Death Spite on a Boombot. If he did want to do that, he probably would have done that before playing the BGH because you don't want to add that risk of it dying, but decides just to hold the weapon for the greater good. Something else. Will come up
Boombot
there
hits
to use,
face, not exactly the ideal target that Roxo was hoping for.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not. I mean, there were 3 targets on the board. Or I guess with the way the death throttles were ordered, oh yeah, the ooze was on the board. Okay, so 3 targets on the board. Elise Starseeker. That is another card that can do really well in this matchup.
Right.
So Justicar Trueheart and Elise, if Dr. Roxo plays it soon. I mean, it takes a little while for Elise to come online with the Golden Monkey and stuff like that, but can potentially do a lot of work in this mirror matchup.
Alright, so Ender picks up a Dr. Boom. Let's see if he wants to play it this turn. I think it's reasonable. If you want to play around Brawl, you can sacrifice your 1/2 after running in your BGH to face probably. Another thing about playing Dr. Boom here though is that Dr. Roxo's weapon is already on its 2nd charge, so when he hits with it, all the Boombots are gonna die for free.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I don't like this. I probably would have liked just Armor Smith, Shield Block, or like Armor Up.
Ooh, yeah, I also don't like playing the Doctor Boom after hitting the Boom Bot, before hitting the Boom Bot rather, because you don't want to put damage on your Doctor Boom to give an easy execute target, right?
Yeah. Okay, I mean, maybe Ender is just playing the aggro player in this
Right.
matchup.
Seems
I
like
mean,
Ender's being very aggressive here. He's already got Dr. Roxo down to 19 health.
yeah, he probably understands that the longer he waits and the more Dr. Roxo stacks up with his Justicar, the worse things are going to turn out for him. And another thing is if he has his deck more tuned to beat aggro decks, he definitely wants to be rushing his opponent down because he probably can't win a long game against another like standard control warrior list, especially something that plays Elise. And when he sees it, the Acera, I mean, those things are just so strong in this mirror matchup. But
Right.
wow, okay, Dr. Roxo gonna execute here. Taking a bit of a risk. I mean, it's not that risky.
Oh, and that Boom Buffer 4 killing off the Elite Starseeker.
Jeez, yeah, I mean that's kind of painful, but it still seems like Dr. Roxo is favorited heavily to win this game. But ooh,
Right, Ender's
and
got an Elise of his own.
yeah, that could definitely turn the tide. Who's gonna draw the map first, and then who's gonna draw the golden monkey first? Those things could be a big deal here. Sylvanas, another card that's important in this matchup. I like holding it until you see something that you want to steal. I mean, playing it into a board of two Armor Smiths doesn't seem that appealing. But when he sees the Ysera, I think he'll slam the Armor Smith or the Sylvanas onto the table.
Right. Ender will have a way to deal with this Ysera though, 'cause he does have the other Shield Maiden as well as the Shield Block in hand with in combination with the Shield Slam.
Yep. Could also just steal it with Sylvanas Shield Slam
Right.
if he wanted to. I mean, I typically don't like using a Sylvanas and a Shield Slam just to deal with one threats, but when it's Ysera we're talking about, that can be a different story because she does give you a little bit of an immediate return, with her card at end of turn, but sometimes it's not that great. So we see Deathspite, Shield Block, Tank Up now from Dr. Roxa, simplifying the board a little bit.
Alright, we
And
see Ender's found the map to the Golden Monkey.
yep, doesn't draw it immediately, but Acolyte of Pain, Shield Block, he's got a few ways to draw if he wants to get to that map or that golden monkey.
Right. Unfortunately for Ender, he still hasn't seen his Justicar, so he's gonna be really behind on armor. So we'll see if he's still going with the aggressive plan.
Yeah, I mean, he played his own Elise. He's a little bit ahead in that respect because he's gotten his map and Dr. Roxo hasn't. So I think just shield blocking and playing the Acolyte and armoring up seems fine because you want to get to the Golden Monkey as soon as possible in this situation because you want to rush your opponent down, get those legendaries, see what you get. And you also want to have a full hand when you do that. That way you get as many immediate options as you possibly can. But
Right, and Ender's got a really big card advantage on Dr. Roxo right now. So when he does draw the monkey, he's gonna have a lot of legendaries in hand.
yeah. Now, sometimes playing the monkey can be a downside because you lose your access to removal spells like Shield Slam and Execute, but if you are the one pressuring your opponent, you're the one asking the questions per se, like, you're the guy playing the threats first and then seeing if your opponent has an answer. I think it's definitely a great place to be in if you just get the golden monkey up, and there it is.
Oh, there it
Wow.
is. See if he wants to play it this turn. I mean, he'd be
Yeah.
giving up his shield slam, which is gonna be pretty crucial for getting rid of a big threat.
Oh
But
man.
I would say maybe at least three of the cards in his hand are not very useful at this point. Coin, Revenge, and Acolyte are all cards that you'd be willing to throw away.
Yeah, I mean, I'd feel sad about losing Sylvanas and Shield Slam, but everything
Right.
else is pretty much throwaway. I would like to see the Acolyte into the Golden Monkey because Acolyte, you just draw into more legendaries. I think it makes sense to play it here, but we'll see what Ender decides to do. And I believe this is going to be the first time we've ever seen Golden Monkey in play uh, on CSL, so that's pretty exciting. Is he gonna do it this turn? Oh wow,
Oh, no
chooses
monkey.
not to. All right, he's waiting it out a little bit. I think he wants to see if there's anything he wants to shield sim first, just in case. But I don't know. I,
Right,
I would have liked to see the golden monkey. I mean,
right.
if he had played it, Ysera would have been played by Dr. Roxo, I think. But eh, you get your own legendaries. Maybe pick up your own Ysera or Sylvanas to deal with it.
Right. And I think Dr. Roxo is going to be very patient playing his Ysera and Sylvanas here because, well, Ender for one isn't pressuring him, and he hasn't seen any removal from Ender besides the Big Game Hunter. So he's got to be pretty wary that this Ysera is going to get killed in one turn.
Yeah, I mean, against a control warrior when they have 9 cards, you know one is the coin, so I guess technically 8 cards. One of them is probably a removal spell when all you've seen so far is has Ender even played any removal spells? I was
I
trying
don't
to
think he's
remember.
played an Execute even.
Yeah, I don't think he's played anything. I know Dr. Roxo has played.
Oh, so decides to go for the monkey this turn. He gets a pretty interesting array of legendaries here. So the first thing he's gonna play, it looks like Mogor the Ogre.
Okay, interesting one to start with. I mean,
Alright.
I guess Wilfred Fizzlebang doesn't seem that great, so you might as well play the 7/6 Mogor. Um, Wilfred Fizzlebang being a 4/4 for 6, you're not really gonna draw anything off your hero power. And Dr. Roxo is feeling the pressure. I mean, he's got a Sylvanas, but that's only gonna steal one thing, and there's so many more to come.
Right. And the Mogor is actually making things really awkward now because now every minion has a chance to miss its target, right? So if he
Yeah,
runs into Sylvanas and ends up losing his monkey, it's gonna be a really awkward situation for him.
but wow, Onyxia is like one of the best counters to this, I think. Even though
Right?
you still have a
It's pretty
Brawl,
good.
like who cares about Brawl when you've still got so many legendaries left? I mean, he's got 2 Cenariuses. Like what in the world? He can refill the board if he wants to, but yeah, I like this play. All right, that's rough.
Oh, snipes the Onyxia from his board. Oh,
And
and
the
the
horse
Mogor
attack.
suicides. That's so sad.
This is
Oh my
terrible for
god.
Ender, but I mean, it's also great for Ender. He's still in a great
Yeah,
spot.
it's pretty great.
Yeah. Wow. What a strange game. I mean, 2 Elite Star Seekers played, 1 map, 1 Golden Monkey so far. Dr. Roxo can still potentially draw into his, so if he can stall out this game for just a little bit longer, get his map online, maybe he just plays Ysera here. I mean, you know your opponent doesn't have any removal spells. All they've got are legendary minions, so this seems like a fine time to just put Ysera into play.
Right.
But wow, he's still gonna be patient with this. I
Wow.
mean,
Yeah,
I
I'm
I
not
don't know
really
what he's
sure what
waiting
else
for.
he's waiting for, right?
Uh, Like, I mean, you've seen the Golden Monkey be played. I guess there's something that could potentially do with the Ysera as Ren Blackhand, but that's all I can think of, and that's a pretty low chance that your opponent actually has that. Ice Howl. This is also a first time. Haven't seen Ice Howl played. Actually, I don't think I've seen that card played ever. Like, not just on CSO, but like from all my time playing Hearthstone in general.
The only time I've played it is getting it out of Unstable Portal. In which
Yeah,
case, it's actually a pretty good minion for its cost.
yeah, that does actually sound really good. 7 mana 10/10 with charge. I mean, sure, it
Seems
can't
good.
attack face, but yeah, can definitely take control of the board with that. And Dr. Roxo, I mean, you've got your opportunity here. Your Sarah and the Shield Slam looks really good right now.
Right.
If there's any chance you're gonna get the lead here, I mean, I can see he wants to keep armoring up, but at this point, your opponent's got a billion legendary minions.
Right.
You need
You
to
need
be
to
proactive.
catch up on board here. You need to catch up on pressure. I think he needs to use Sarah this turn.
Yeah. Okay, good. He played it. If he didn't use Sarah this turn, I would have been really sad. I mean, I wanted to see it last turn, but definitely this turn. Okay. Now, what does Ender got? Oh man.
Oh man, that's a really good steal.
Yep, but he actually can't kill the Ysera yet. I mean, he can trade health with it, but can't deal with it yet.
Right.
Wow. Maybe
That's
that's one of the things Dr. Roxo was thinking about when he didn't play the Ysera. So,
that's also a really large Vol'jin. I don't think I've ever seen a Vol'jin with 12 health.
mm. I think I've actually seen some really big Vol'jins before. Back in the day, playing the pre-smear when Vol'jin was more popular, there was a list that had
Oh man.
Vol'jin and Ysera and Velen's chosen, and there was a 616 Vol'jin in play at one point,
Wow.
I think. So yeah, Vol'jin, I mean, that card, it seems like it hasn't seen a whole lot of time in the spotlight. It's a powerful card, but Priest just plays a lot of other options a lot of the time, I think. I guess Vol'jin, you kind of need it to be a two-card combo to deal with things because
Right.
you can Vol'jin into Holy Smite or Vol'jin into Holy Nova. But yeah, looking at this turn for Dr. Roxo, he wishes he could get his Ysera to survive, but I don't think he can, and he's just gonna go full Smork, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, Laughing Sister is not what he wanted to see from the Ysera. Nightmare! Nightmare, not really what you want to see either. I honestly think you really want to see Emerald Drake in this spot.
yeah, I think Awakens would have also been pretty nice.
Right.
Just to have something to combat your opponent's board presence, but now he isn't going to be left with much. And one of two scenarios might get played. A Leroy Jenkins drawn for some burst damage. I mean, this is ridiculous. The power of the Golden Monkey is being clearly displayed here. I mean, Dr. Roxa has a lot of armor, but a lot of armor doesn't really matter if you're getting beaten down by a bunch of legendary minions.
Right. And actually, Ender can even make more legendary minions if he wants to play out his Palistris.
Yeah, Confessor Palatrice, I really like her, but I don't think she's quite good enough for normal constructed. Maybe we'll see her in standard. She's a really good card in a slow meta, I think. Potentially gains a lot of value, but yeah, I did get kicked out of the spectator client for a second there, so we'll get it back up in just a second.
Alright. So Dr. Roxa's got to figure out how he's going to deal with his board. He doesn't really have a clean way to deal with anything. If he wants to bash off the Fugan, then he's going to have to sacrifice his Ysera. And he probably really wants to get that last Ysera card out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you want to get as much as you can off the Ysera. Even if it means taking a little bit of extra damage. You've got a lot of HP, I think it's worth it.
Right. How does Dr. Roxa win this game? He's not going to have enough removal for all the cards in Ender's deck, right?
Yeah, I think he needs his own Golden Monkey and to Deathwing or something. And to
Right.
chain good draws. Because Deathwing is like the true trump card once both Golden Monkeys have been played. Because
Right.
there's very, very few things that can deal with it. Ren Blackhand would obviously be terrible if your opponent had that, as well as a dragon, if you do play Deathwing.
Right.
Whoops. Yeah, that was really weird. Sometimes you just get kicked out, you know? Like maybe
Yeah.
there's too much legendary stuff going on here and the game just can't take it. It's like
So I hadn't
avert
been
your
kicked out, but the
eyes.
game has seemed to stop for me, so I'm gonna re-enter the game here.
Well, I'll just let you know, Tyrion has been played now for Ender, so I'm guessing he drew that this turn. Um, wow, this is really strange. It looks like I got back in, but it froze. Hmm.
Yeah, spectator mode tends to be a little bit buggy sometimes, but yeah, um it looks like Ender's board is looking even more scary than it was before. He's got a huge board with Palistris, Tyrion, and Bosanarius in play.
Not
Pretty
one.
ridiculous.
Yeah, not one, not two, but three scenarios now. Actually, for Ender has another one is in his hand.
Oh, and
But
Roxo has finally found his golden monkey, but is it too late?
Yeah, those are not the best legendaries to be seen right now. Bolvar Four Dragon, Bolf Ram Shield, and Annie I mean,
Right, not exactly the legendaries you were hoping for.
yeah, these three legendaries basically never see play. Um, I mean, Deathwing off the top. I think Dr. Roxo's praying for it at this point. I mean, what else can save you from a board this scary? He needs the power incarnate.
Right. I don't think there's another way he has any chance of winning this. And even so, if he Deathwings, he loses his entire hand, and Ender still has a handful of legendaries to come out here.
Yeah. Plus, Ender would get an Ashbringer too. Wow.
Right.
So, wow, Dr. Roxo had the first Justicar, which used to mean certain death for the opponent in this matchup, but it appears the first Golden Monkey is even more important now that a lot of these people are playing at least Starseeker. It's pretty popular in the list these days. And yeah, the
Right.
first one to get to the Golden Monkey seems to be advantaged by a long shot. And the well played comes up from Ender. Dr. Roxo does not return the favor there, just concedes on the spot. And that's going to be a 2-1 lead now for the UNT Eagles.
All right.
Yeah, they're looking good here. Both Warriors haven't played now, so that's going to be Druid and Warrior off the table for UNT, and Priest and Warrior out of the equation for Michigan. So next up, we're going to have Cranberries versus Orion Mango. They've still got 7 classes to choose from. Wonder what they're going to bring here. I mean, Warrior out of the way now. Warrior and Druid out of the way from UNT. This seems like a great time to play Freeze Mage for Michigan. Um,
Yeah.
Warrior and Druid being the hardest counters to Freeze Mage. Some other decks can certainly beat it, um, but Freeze Mage really strong in a lot of other matchups. So we'll be getting in game shortly.
All right. So for our next match, we're gonna have Cranberries from University of Texas versus Orion Mango of Michigan Premier.
Yep, seems like we're just waiting on them to choose their decks. Like I said, Orion Mango, I would really like to see Freeze Mage if he can play it. Depends on, of course, whether or not he's played the deck. You don't just want to play it because it's good. You want to play a deck that you play well, that you're comfortable with. Maybe if he doesn't play it, if Darkhawk has Freeze Mage in his lineup, then he could play it after. But they got to make it there first. If Cranberries takes the win this game, that's going to be the win for UNT. But we'll see if he can beat Orion Mango. Players still deliberating over the decks, I think. Definitely some tough choices to be made at this point in the series. You want to consider what decks your opponent has played, what decks you have left, what matches you want to line up, what matchups you want to get. Another potential choice from Michigan could definitely be Secret Paladin.
Right. But definitely Freeze Mage would be a really strong choice here, as we were saying, because the Druid and Warrior are out of the way.
Yeah. Even something like Priest still struggles with Freeze Mage unless you play a ton of heal, which most priests can't afford to. Priest just gives you a lot of time as a Freeze Mage player. They don't really apply any pressure. And you can just build up a hand filled with burn spells and Alexstrasza. You can Archmage Antonidas for a lot of value. Um, so that's another matchup that I think is pretty good for Freeze Mage. Maybe something like Reno could do well against Freeze Mage, depending on how much heal it plays and whether or not it draws its Reno. It's always an important factor with that deck, but looks like the
Right.
players are in game. We're gonna jump in and see what they've chosen. All right, Cranberry's got his hunter ready to go. Maybe he predicted the freeze mage and he wants this matchup. Maybe he has some secret hate in his deck. I mean, something like Flare or Kesen Mystic.
Right. Flare is absolutely devastating for the Freeze Mage. Basically can't win against a deck that plays Flare, unless they happen not to draw it.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe UNT predicted this. Like the freeze mage did seem like a pretty clear choice. Like I wouldn't say super obvious, and maybe Orion Mango isn't comfortable with it, or something along those lines. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, maybe Michigan did want this matchup. Uh,
Right. So still not really sure if Cranberries is playing Face Hunter or Hybrid Hunter, but we do see a Glaive Zuka here, so I'm guessing it's one of either Face or Hybrid.
yeah, I think Glavezuka does usually mean face, but yeah, I guess it could be hybrid. It's definitely not well, I want to say definitely, but it's probably not straight mid-range.
Right.
Um
So Ryan's gonna go for the trade here and just ping off one of the Spectral Spiders.
yeah, his hand looks decent. I mean, and TKBot is okay. A mad scientist would have been nice, but you can't really get everything, I guess. And there it
Oh,
is.
and always
Always Huffer.
Huffer.
Classic. Here.
Alright, so
Well,
Orion's probably going to be forced to Frostbolt here. Not exactly what he wants to do on turn 3. He usually wants to get his cycle going, but we can't let that Huffer hit him in the face twice. So Luke's got a couple options here. He can start queuing up his weapon while he has a minion on the board to make sure he gets that one extra damage in. Or he can play out his juggler and just hero power.
yep,
I think either
interesting
one is
choice.
fine here.
Goes with steady shot. No Glavezuka. Just hits the face with the creeper. I think hero powering a lot makes sense with this hand. You don't have enough damage, yet. You got a hero power somewhere in order to finish off your opponent in here, assuming they don't get heals or ice block.
Alright. So it looks like Orion just play out the Blood Mage here probably just for a cycle, and Luke is going to try to snipe off this Blood Mage with the dagger. Doesn't get the hit, so he's going to have to run his Spectral Spider in here.
Or maybe he won't.
Or not.
One extra damage. How important does he think it is? Okay. Trades
Yeah.
the spider.
I definitely think you either have to use your face or the Spectral Spider there. You don't want him to have an easy trade on your juggler, right? We want to force him to have to hero power this turn too.
Yeah. Novice Engineer, drawn for Orion Mango. Typically don't see Novice and Loot Hoarder in the same list. Usually it's one or the other as a two of, but
Right.
Orion has both of them. Maybe.
Typically, if you have both, it might signify a Malagos or Reno list. I've actually been playing around with the Malagos Reno lock that does play both.
Yeah, I see. What about Cold Light Oracle?
Yeah, it's also a tech choice. It's usually Cold Light or the Novice.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people play Cold Light when they play those decks with Theresen, Malagos, those cards.
Right. So Cranberries is gonna be very close to popping this block here. My mistake. That's a barrier, right? So he's not quite there yet, but has already gotten Orion Mango at a really low health really early in the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ice Barrier and T Keelbot, double Mad Scientist now. Okay. The two Mad Scientists are pretty good. I mean, either secret seems fine right now. You've got T Keelbot to heal if you get Ice Block,
Right.
and Barrier itself would heal if you get that. So,
So Orion Mango's opting not to go with the heal bot this turn. A little bit of a ballsy play because he is at a pretty low health and leaving at least 4 damage showing already. But again, Luke is only at 7 mana, so it's not that likely that he'll be able to kill him.
yeah, I think Unleash the Hound's kill command still wasn't enough. That would have been 9, and he would have been 1 mana off. Yeah, I don't actually think there was a way he could lethal him.
Right.
2 quick shots maybe into kill command. That would have been lethal, I guess, but that's
Yeah,
pretty
not
unlikely.
very likely, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna get a second secret out here, and I'm guessing we're gonna be seeing the heal bot come down this turn. So the secret that comes out is another barrier.
Yeah, and I think that's what you want to see when you have this other scientist to pull out a block anyways. You just want to
Right.
make sure you get your barrier up. That way you don't get in a situation where your opponent can just hero power you and kill command you down to like 1 or 2 health and not even have to worry about your ice barrier.
Right. So something we want to think about here, is it time to just forgo attacking your opponent and just take him down with burns?
Yeah, I think that might be what Cranberries goes for. Just because if you do end up going through another barrier, I mean, he doesn't have a charge minion or anything anyways. It seems like he's not just gonna let his minions die for free here, which I like. I mean, holding on to the owl to potentially make Kill Command do some more damage. Um,
Right. I might have considered kill commanding last turn, owling scientist and kill commanding last turn, because he Cranberry does have an explosive trap up. So if Orion Mango were to run in, he would also get the block up.
yeah. Yeah, that's kind of scary, but another scary thing here is if Cranberries drew the second kill command, he could have just killed his opponent.
Right. The thing is, Cranberries isn't sure whether that's a barrier or block right now.
Yeah, but I would have definitely taken the shot. I mean, at
Right.
this point, with Freeze Mage having this many cards and like potentially Alex Strauss next turn, I think most people would have just gone for it there.
Right. I
But
think I would really like to see the owl come down here. You don't want to let Cranberries get. You don't want to let Orion Mango get this free secret off the scientist if you can help it. You're not going to be silencing a Doomsayer at this point when you have so few cards in your hand. So I don't
right.
think there's really like a better silence target.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, okay, no more secrets for Cranberries. That usually is what happens as a face hunter. You only have 2 explosive traps, which both of them are terrible against Freeze Mage. Like, oh man, they're the worst. Um, just because a good Freeze Mage will pretty much never proc them until it's absolutely time. So that's
Right.
that's really rough for Cranberries here.
So, Cranberries can threaten lethal next turn, right? He has the owl kill command followed up by the hero power. So he can pop Orion Mango at 1 health.
Yep. Um, I guess if the knife hits too, because kill command plus hero power is
Oh, right,
seven
it's gonna be
damage from
7
the one.
damage, right? So the knife would also have to hit the face. Second explosive trap is not what you want to see in this situation.
Yeah, I think he might as well just go for it.
Alright.
Like this acolyte's gonna draw cards anyway.
Oh,
Like I
he
don't know how
decides
you're
to
gonna
just
win.
pass here. So he's gonna go for, I guess, the sure pop next turn.
Yep. All right, and here's Alex Straza. I like the attack in Alex Straza's self, and that
Right,
pretty much negates any possibility of Cranberries just burning him out.
right.
He's gonna have to attack it. Whoa. Is he gonna ice
Ice
lance?
Lance. So he's gonna Ice Lance as well as defensively Alexstrasza?
Interesting. I mean, I
Oh,
guess.
I see. He was gonna burn a card.
Ah, yeah. Okay, good point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason. I think. Yeah. Yeah, makes. I mean, you might as well if you're gonna lose a card anyway. Which, ironically,
Right.
it does turn out to be another ice lance.
So it's gonna make it so that this Alexstrasza can't hit him in the face here. Which is actually the Hunter's Mark is actually a really good pickup here. If you let the Alexstrasza take give you 8 damage in the face, you're gonna be definitely a few turns closer to losing here.
Yeah. But I think at this point, it's pretty much over for Cranberries. He's gonna need some kind of
Right.
ridiculous miracle,
I mean, he has a little bit of time. He could potentially draw into a second kill command and threaten
yeah,
lethal over 2 turns.
or something like a flare.
Right.
But there is
Flare
another
would be
ice
pretty
block.
amazing. Yeah, with the second ice block, it's gonna be pretty devastating for him.
Emperor Tharison could just throw down an explosive sheep as well, but looks like he's gonna choose to fireball.
Kind kind of curious as to why he ran into the trap there. Maybe to play around Unleash the Hounds.
Yeah, That was kind of weird.
Because
Maybe.
so now Cranberries can actually pop the block, right? He can owl. He did get the second kill command. So he can owl, kill command, and hero power.
Yeah, that does pop the block, leave his opponent at 1. Seems like a solid play. I guess there is a chance, but I don't know if it's gonna happen here. Maybe if Orion Mango just draws no burn spells, but that doesn't
Right.
seem possible. It seems like he's gonna have to draw a burn spell at some point.
Right.
He's only got 3 cards left, so
And he's also got the 5 damage from the Thorson going face, so he's definitely got enough time here. He even picks up the Antonitis.
yeah. So Antonitis Ice Block.
Right. Should threaten lethal for next turn.
Got Pyroblast.
So if he hits so if Orion Mango hits the face for 5 this turn, does 5 damage, leaves Cranberries at 15. Then next turn, with the combined attacks and the fireball, it'll be lethal. The only problem is if Luke had another trap, right? But as we saw, Luke doesn't have another trap besides the explosive trap, because that can also be a problem for the freeze mage. He wouldn't be able to attack if Cranberries had another explosive trap.
Right.
Because the block wouldn't proc on his turn.
Yeah. Yeah, Fatigue, Explosive Trap, anything that damages you on your turn can get through Ice Block. I know there have definitely been some Freeze Mage players who have learned that the hard way. It's like, oh, I have Ice Block up. I won't die to this, and you're dead. But,
So I think that is gonna be game for Orion Mango here.
Yep. Yeah, he's got plenty of damage to finish his opponent off. 2 fireballs, and it looks like this is going to be going to a game 5. Technical game 4, I guess, because there was a win by default for Michigan.
All right. So so Michigan ties up the series 2-2, and we'll be going into game 5 of our series.
Yep. And yeah, Pyroblast for the win here. Lots of damage, and the Freeze Mage pick does look like it's worked out. And going over the classes that are left now, Tan Man played Druid earlier on for UNT, Warrior out of the way, and Hunter out of the way now. So they can no longer play those 3 classes. And Michigan already played their Priest, their Warrior, and their Mage. So, yep, 6 classes left to choose from. For each school.
All right, so short intermission while we get our next match queued up.
All right.
All right, we're back, and looks like our second or our fifth match is already started here. So we've got Zebra Thief on Paladin, and we've got Dark Hawk on Paladin as well. But it looks like Dark Hawk's bringing the Murloc Paladin with Doctor Boom, which is kind of an interesting tech that we don't usually see in the list.
Yeah. But I mean, Dr. Boom can fit in pretty much any list, so it seems fair to me to play it. Yeah, it is clearly the anything can happen deck versus what seems to be Secret Paladin. So I think this matchup just comes down to whether or not the anything deck can survive until turn 10, and depending on whether or not they get their combo pieces together. And I think it's very difficult to survive. I mean, Darkhawk just has a rough hand at this point, and Thief has had a pretty powerful opening.
Right.
This could just be a really fast game here. I mean,
Yeah, Darkhawk would have needed exactly equality to come back here.
yeah, he could have had Wild Pyromancer Equality to clean up the board, which would
Yeah.
have been
Actually,
pretty good.
Consecration would have been fine as well because he has the True Silver to help him clean up here.
Yeah. Yeah, would have left just a 3-1 in play.
Alright, so he's gonna try to control the board as best he can here. Unfortunately, not much he can do. He's gonna Aldur the 3-3.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be too much damage. A Leper Gnome also picked up from Zebra Thief, potentially spelling out lethal pretty soon.
Right. It's interesting to see. So this looks like the aggressive paladin, right? It's kind of an archetype that's kind of come back from the dead. We hadn't seen it in a few seasons. It was popular before the rise of the secret paladin, but it actually made a comeback this past weekend at the EU prelims, where it performed really well, outplaying a lot of secret paladins.
Yeah. Yeah, the Aggro Paladin was also definitely a possibility, which it does seem like that's what the deck was. I mean, with the Leper Gnome and Zebra Thief taking the win very quickly in game 5. That's going to
Right.
be the win, 3-2 for UNT, even though they started with a 1-game deficit, pulling it back. And yeah, well played by those guys. Pretty
Right.
pretty good match there.
So UMT picks up um,
We can take a quick break before the next match, I guess.
all right, and we'll be right back. Next match will start in just a moment after the break, and we're gonna have UC Irvine versus San Jose State coming up.
It's